I didn't realize how much social media was draining me until I left for 30 days. And honestly, it changed me so much that I started to ask, who am I?
Hi, I am Prince Achom, the girl who had the crazy idea to start Control Life. And today's video is one I've been looking forward to making, partly because I do a lot of things on social media. I create videos, I write articles, all of those good stuff, right? So taking some time off social media is not a new concept to me. However, I've never been off social media for this long without a reason. Usually when I go offline, my detox is usually like 2 3 days max. So sometime last 2 months, that's in June, I started to feel overwhelmed. I felt like my brain was overstimulated. You know, when you spend so much time on social media and it feels like you've taken in so many information and now you're just overwhelmed with informations, right? For me, I used to boast about not being addicted to social media, even though that's like my active mode of expression. I spend like 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, that kind of thing. I go online because I want to post, not because I'm just scrolling. However, I realized that 2 months ago, when I go online, I'm just doom scrolling. So I felt I needed to, curb that. I needed to take some time off social media, and I was also having sleepless nights, insomnia, and all of that. So the constant screen time wasn't helping me actually. So I needed to go offline. When I first took some time off social media, the first thing I realized actually was the struggle. You know, that struggle where normally you would wake up, maybe exercise, do a few things, and then the next thing would be to pick up your phone to see who have, left you a message or liked your post or all of that stuff. For me, that was the first struggle I had, because before I went offline, I made a post about midnight or so. And when I made the post, I went offline, deleted my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I didn't delete Snapchat, however, because of streaks. My family and friends are going to slay me if I leave Snapchat. Honestly, they will. And then I left WhatsApp because I had, work, school to catch up on, so I couldn't completely leave WhatsApp. However, I turned off notifications for WhatsApp, so I don't get to see the message except I'm willing to, see the message, right? After 30 days, actually, I didn't have to wait 30 days to experience these changes. However, I needed to put a timeline to my social media detox. And for me, I separated them into like different things: mental and emotional benefits of, staying off social media. I think mentally, which was the way in which I suffered the most before I left social media. So mentally and emotionally, the first thing that I experienced was heightened level of peace. Now, in the sense that, one, I didn't have to think about videos to upload. Is my video doing well? Are people watching? What's the algorithm saying this week? All of the stuff. What new trends are coming up? What am I missing out on? There was none of those. So I think that my brain had so much time to just rest. When I left social media, emotionally, I was in a better place. I was able to really process my emotions, as opposed to when I was online. I wanted to be there, be strong, create content, show up, even though emotionally I needed someone to lean on. But leaving social media kind of gave me that. I could focus on myself. People didn't have to be the center of, service. I didn't have to serve them in a way of, posting content. I could now serve myself. I could save my energy for myself. I could rest. I could just rest. Then another thing that I, you know, put out was physically. What physical benefits did I get from staying offline? The first physical benefit I would say is that I started to sleep more, and that didn't happen immediately. Obviously, if you've struggled with insomnia, or if you struggle with insomnia, you know that insomnia is not necessarily dependent on what you're doing, like the activity you're doing. However, it could be curbed, or it could be influenced by the activities that you actually do. And for me, when I was on social media, I had such a terrible sleeping pattern. But when I left social media, at those times where I couldn't sleep, what was on my mind was not scroll. It wasn't come up with content ideas. It wasn't, you know, see how your analytics are doing. It wasn't all of that for me. It was more of, let me just try to close my eyes. Okay, let me meditate on what I've read. Imagine you're not scrolling, you're not doing anything, you're just sitting down, you're tired, the sleep is not coming. Slowly but surely, I started to sleep actually. 2 a.m. I was falling asleep 2 a.m. instead of like 5 a.m. And then I was able to sleep for like a longer time. From there, it reduced to 1 a.m. And then I'm sleeping 12 a.m. And before you know, I'm sleeping like before 12. What do you mean I am getting sleepy by 10:30? What do you mean I am winding down once it's 9 p.m.? So I had such, restful time of social media. It gave me the ability to sleep well. And aside that, it also helped me, to reduce my phone screen time. Oh my god, I got a notification and it was like, your screen time has reduced by one ridiculous percent, and your average time is 1 hour something daily. I was like, no, what do you mean? I used to celebrate when I have like 8 hours screen time, 6 hours. I remember when I have 6 hours screen time, I'm like, oh my god, out of 24 hours, I use my phone just like an average of like 6 hours daily. That is amazing, right? But when I saw 1 hour, I'm like, what? 1 hour? I felt so good because, and I think it even makes sense because the only time I go online is to send streaks to family and friends, and check group messages on WhatsApp for work or school. Those are the only apps I didn't delete from my phone for those specific reasons. And then I don't go online and just stay and chat away. I don't do that because obviously I am taking a detox. And one thing is, once you experience peace, oh my god, you start craving peace so much. And that's what social media break did for me. Another aspect that I'm going to talk about shortly is socially and spiritually. I started to, have more meaningful physical conversations, even phone calls. I was able to live in the moment. I was able to like bond with the people that I could see, right? So I had so much fun just doing that. And it kind of even, flowed into my prayer and fellowship life, because since I'm now more present physically, I could take that into fellowship and into my time with God. I was able to just say, oh God, this is how I'm feeling in the moment. This is what is going on in my head. This is what is going on in my heart. I'm able to stay in the place of fellowship because I'm not necessarily thinking of one deadline I have to meet. My alarms are not going off because of a post I have to make or comments that I have to reply to. None of that. I'm able to just stay. Even if I'm not even actively praying, I'm able to just stay and bask in God's presence. I'm able to just listen to worship for hours uninterrupted. It's nourished my soul in a way that I cannot explain it. In fact, I had to inculcate, YouTube videos into my routine. not just any YouTube videos. It was even so crazy that I started to select the kind of videos that I now watch on YouTube. I don't watch random vlogs anymore. I've been leaning more into podcasts and Christian talk shows. And if it's vlogs, then it's like slow living, slow mornings, because I also started to have a lot of that myself, just slow mornings. So I enjoyed doing that. So yeah, I think I had such great time off social media. And I will also say that some of the lessons that I learned by being offline, the first thing is life is still happening. Life is literally still happening off social media. When you're not scrolling, life is happening. I've read like 6, 7, 8 books. I don't even know. I've read a ton of books in the past month. I honestly wouldn't have done that if I was actively on social media. Another thing that I learned is that social media is highlights. You cannot base someone's life off of what they post. If you go through my posts, you're going to find one encouragement. You're going to actually pick 1 or 2 things to help you in the season you're currently going. But who would have thought that I left social media because I wasn't in a great place? Emotionally, mentally, physically. Who would have thought my purpose for leaving social media was the very purpose people were viewing my own posts? Literally, that's why I'm leaving social media. I do not feel all of these things. I'm able to give it to you, but like at the expense of burning myself out. So it's just very crazy. Social media is just highlights of people's life. You cannot base your own life off of what you see on social media. Another thing that I learned is that your brain rests when your phone rests. Social media is so, I would say, backwards. Even though it looks the opposite, it looks like, oh, things are getting better, people are advancing and all of that. But I think it's so backwards because there was a time people could sit down and watch a 10 minutes long video, but people don't do that anymore on social media if it's not on YouTube. Like they feel like, why am I watching a video so long? Let me just give me 30 seconds, 10 seconds, give me 1 second. Those 1 second reel? Like, give me 1 second. Just keep bombarding me with things, keep giving me things to watch. I want to keep scrolling. But what we don't understand is that we overstimulate the brain with these bits and pieces of information. And it's so crazy because you see all kind of content on social media. Right now you're seeing people playing this song, the next clip maybe somebody talking about something random. You scroll up again, you see somebody cooking. You scroll up again, it's like a get ready with me video. Tons of things at the same time. Your brain is yet to process one thing finish, and then you bombarded it with something else. So I think that your brain actually gets some rest when your phone rests. So yeah, those are the lessons that I've learned from being offline. And I'm just going to say this, that if you've been maybe burnt out, you feel overstimulated, I would advise that you take some time off social media. And why I'm giving that advice is because social media detox is something that you don't know you need until you do it. Do you get that kind of thing? So it's going to really help you, put your thoughts together, more like organize your space, your head space, right? Because I think that's what it did for me. I've been able to get into a better headspace by being offline. And even though I get back online and get back into content creation, I'm going to be creating from a well rested space as opposed to an overly stimulated headspace. If you're looking towards doing that, or you're looking for something to encourage you to take social media break, I hope that my video inspires you to do that. Let me know in the comment sections other ways in which you de-stress, or if you've ever done a social media detox, or if you're currently doing it and YouTube is like your only outlet where you watch videos and all of that. Let me know in the comment section. I would be glad to respond to your messages. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but there is no comments, or there is hardly any comments on this channel that goes unresponded to. I try my best to reply to every comment because I love to read them. And sometimes it breaks my heart to see that you don't comment sometimes, because I want to read comments, I want to reply, I want to know what you think about the video. So like it, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and also share with a friend who you think would need this video at this time of their life. Thank you so much for watching. This is Control Life. We are navigating our 20s together, and I'm going to see you in my next video next Sunday. Bye.